Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 12, right? 12 of Thick and Thin with LB and Dute. As always, I am the dudes to the eyes to the rocks. And of course, the only other person that would ever do a show with me or waste his time on something this silly, LBSUTKE. What's up, bitch?
What else am I going to do? You know, a few minutes to kill here, I could go out and have fun. I could go outside.
No, none of these things.
See the world.
Good. Terrible ideas. So what's been going on? What's the word?
Nothing. Just plugging away. Played a little bit of the Diablo 3 beta over the weekend.
I feel like you sucked me into that. You used that as a reason to get me to talk about Diablo. Did you have a good time?
I did. I had a very good time.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I had fun. It wasn't some super math process that you had to bring out an abacus and consult the interwebs on every move and everything. You could just go ahead and play and figure it out and have a good time.
So you had a good time.
Yeah.
Now, was it everything that you wanted it to be? Did you feel it was lacking in some ways, shapes, and or forms? Or what do you think overall?
Well, overall, I think it was decent. I don't have like a huge connection to like Diablo 2 or Diablo 1. I mean, I played Diablo 2 and I thought it was a lot of fun, but it wasn't like, oh my God, you remember when I played 12 straight hours of Diablo? No, I didn't do that. But being able to play the beta, I was excited with the gameplay. I thought it was good. I thought the pacing was pretty good. I thought the different characters we got to choose with the different mixes of powers was a lot of fun, and I think it has a lot of potential.
A lot of potential. Okay, now I feel like we're finally getting somewhere. So you're saying the game feels unfinished. Maybe perhaps. Now, I know I don't. Here's the thing. I know you're going to say it's a beta, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but the game's coming out in 3 weeks, right? So we're not really looking at a beta, are we? Really? We're looking at what we now call
you were looking
demos.
at a server test. That's what you were looking at.
But you're looking at the final game. Mechanics-wise, what's available to you in the game. It's all done, right? It's all done.
It is. I don't know if they're going to give out the release candidate like that. I think maybe it was a close to release candidate. I think only getting to play the first 13 levels of your character or the first boss, they're not going to throw out the full game and let somebody just go ahead and play and be like, all right, I did it. Great. Moving on.
Okay. I think that's fair. Now let me give you my take. You ready?
Okay.
All right. I played the beta all weekend, first of all. All weekend, did I not?
You played a lot.
Because I have a problem.
Huh?
I played every character. Past level 10. The max was what, 13? Right? 13?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has a lot of potential. I'll agree with you there. But here's the thing. I would play a tune up to whatever level I was able to. And some I enjoyed more than others. But for the most part, I think my feeling was, can I really see myself playing this character to, I didn't even know what the max level was, 50? I believe 50?
No, it's higher than that.
Is it higher than 60?
60. I think it's 60.
I don't know. They were fun, but the dungeon crawl, and this is by no means, I loved Diablo 2. I put a lot of time into that game. But I almost feel like a game like that is no longer relevant in the gaming world of today. And because of this sort of, constant MMO changes in games and stuff like that, you kind of lose the drive to keep playing that tune over and over again. Because I don't know, the dungeons started to feel really, the same. And I know they're dynamic and they shift, every time you play, you kind of get a new experience, quote unquote. But after a while, I don't know, I just felt like I know I'm going to buy it, right? Like I know I'm going to definitely be into the game and I'm going to play it for a while, but I'm kind of putting this game right now at month tops. That's where I'm at with this game. Month tops, maybe 2 months, depending on what kind of content they bring out. They had the PvP in the game, and I've talked about this, and Core knows in chat and a bunch of other people. They originally had PvP, which had me really excited. I was like, oh, World of Diablo, but I get to shit on other people that are actually on a computer somewhere. Always makes me happy. They pulled that at the last minute, about 2 months prior to this open beta. They pulled it out and said it wasn't ready. They had to go back to the drawing board, and that's good because I don't want them to bring out a product that sucks. But when they lose that major component like that, and that's something I'm kind of dying to get my hands on, I think that did a little toll on me as well. I think that kind of I was like, I was really looking forward to this game in this sort of form, and now I'm just going to be doing dungeon crawls for a couple months. I don't know. I mean, I'm glad there's no subscription or things like that. But that, for me at least, was why I don't give it as many stars as you're giving it, or fucks, if you will. Because you said, what, 3.5 is what you're giving it out of 5?
I'm getting 3.5 fucks.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I'd probably put it at a 3. 2.5 to a 3, to be fair.
And, to kind of come back on my point, too, if there was a subscription model to it, no, it would lose a full fuck. I'd drop it down to 2.5. If I'm going to pay $15 a month to dungeon crawl, no. It's going to need more than that. But for no subscription and be able to do that and go co-op with your buddies at the same time, I think it's worth it. Plus, like you said, it's a good thing that they pull the PvP. If it was crap, pull it. Don't force it out and be like, oh, well, we're just going to patch it in a month and then it will be fine. No, pull that shit. Be like, look, there's a problem with it. We don't want to release a broken product. It's going to be fixed. It's going to be ready to rock. Just give us a little more time.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think the big allure of Diablo 3 in this particular situation is it becomes a lot more fun with your friends, right? I mean, and it's mindless. Diablo 3 is the most mindless video game I've ever played in my entire gaming career. From Diablo 2 to whatever, the whole series. It's you get on, you start hacking and slashing shit for about 2-3 hours. You look up at the clock, you didn't even know you spent that much time doing it. Right? I mean, that's kind of the basis of it. And for that, it's probably worth the money. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, what else was on the horizon? A game that I have been talking about for way too long. I care way too much about. And if it sucks, I'm probably done with gaming forever. This could be my last hope. Of course, talking about Guild Wars 2.
I'm going to say this could be your brink. This could be.
It's funny because I was talking about it earlier, and I said I know this is gonna come back to bite me in the ass, and this will be my Brink. Because if anyone doesn't know, LB pushed Brink like it was the second coming of Jesus himself. Worst game in the last couple years in terms of hype versus what we got. Brink, right? Not a bad game in terms of what it was, but versus the hype. Let's be honest, it was kind of a hyped game. It turned out to be shit, right? Was that fair to say? I know this hurts you to say it. I know it hurts you.
Interestingly enough, yes, in the beginning there was definitely network problems, but there was a Joystick article that came out saying that it actually sold like 1.5 million units.
Those poor motherfuckers.
And
did it say in the article too that 1 million of those were from the hype directly coming from you?
I wish.
Did they say
a little kickback or something?
Right. No,
be like,
of course.
hey, LB's doing play. Check it out. Yeah, thanks. But no, I didn't get any of that. But they said it was primarily due to. They even said in the article, like, yes, it came to a really shocky start, really crappy start, and but its big success was actually on the PC, where they could kick out patches a lot quicker and a lot more efficiently. So that's where their big selling point was, or where their big success was on the PC version.
All right.
But anyways, sorry to digress.
No, it's fine. I mean, look, I need to prepare myself for if this situation occurs with me. I'm readying myself. I'm trying to learn from you like the tree of knowledge. But anyway, the difference between these two games and why I don't think I will be in LB's shoes in the coming months. So far, in terms of press that Guild Wars 2 has gotten, I mean, I think you're hard pressed to find any negative comments from the press that have played this game. I myself got to play it at PAX. I loved it for the little couple seconds I played it, but I'm even putting a challenge out to chat to try to find some bad stuff about this game. Overhyped, I usually agree with, but in this case, I feel like the hype is living up. I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling good. All right.
We'll see what happens. Now you just screwed the game.
I killed the whole game. These developers are sweating. They feel the LB syndrome. It's tingling in them, and now they're shitting their pants. So anyway, so we got a video queued up just for about the beta weekend. It's this weekend. If you have pre-purchased, not pre-ordered, if you bought the game outright, you basically get beta access to the game. I think every single beta invite, like for the next, they do these weekends. So any weekend that comes up, you get access to the weekend. You get to see it, you play it, whatever. Let's check it out. Let's see it. I don't know.
Dinner's ready.
And dinner's ready. For LB.
Well, that's great. Thanks, Terry.
Hey, everybody.
Dinner's ready, everybody. What are we having for dinner, Terry, so I can tell everybody on the internet?
Goes to community team. We just recently announced that we will have our first ever Guild Wars 2 beta weekend event, which will be on the weekend of April the 27th.
And a side note, if this guy says beta again, I'm gonna punch him in the fucking throat.
You're just mad.
It's not a beta. It's not a beta. It's a beta. Beta. And coming from me, that's a huge insult when I'm correcting your grammar. Your pronunciation.
We might want to give you a little bit of an overview what will be
It's a
playable
beta.
in this test. So I have Mike Z with me, also known as the Z-Axis, and he has been working really hard on.
He has burnt
this
like a
test.
beta fish. That's correct. It's not a beta.
What you can expect to see and what you will be able to play. So,
You know, maybe if Duty could put the link in chat, people could click on it if they wanted to.
Tell them a little bit about things they can do in the beta.
Alright, so for BWE1, we
Look at these
we have
screenshots,
starting
bro.
experiences for 3 of the races that Norn.
Maybe if Duty could put the link in the chat window, people
what?
could click on it. Apparently, it's a little difficult for them to hear.
All right. I'll put it up then. You guys are being dicks about it.
The good thing about this
We're
is
switching it off.
any character
Anyway.
in the world, you can basically just enter into the PvP lobby.
Oh, that's much better. There we go.
Make it happy for everybody. But anyway, they're talking a little bit about the beta.
If
you wanna be a part of that.
God damn you.
The beta.
Beta.
Beta time. In the beta, and I'll give you a little synopsis since, you know, I'm on the marketing team. It's basically an MMO, but there is no raiding. There are no factions. You're basically on one server, and that server attacks 2 other servers. Every 2 weeks, that switches. So it's kind of like you get to battle. It's mostly PvP based. It's exactly what I like in games. It looks amazing. The graphics are phenomenal. It is not on an Xbox, and so it can only be good, right? Isn't that where we're going? Because we know the Xbox is kind of, we're running out of time, right? Let's be honest.
Yeah, we need it's time for, you know, a new box. So my gaming is definitely going to be more PC over the next couple months until November than it will be console gaming.
That's right. That's right. And now let me ask you this, because I didn't buy your awesome game that you tried to push and, you know, get me to buy. Did you pre-order Guild Wars 2? Did you do that, or?
I did that today.
Oh, so you
I
did.
do the pre-order because, you know, it's the Duty hype train, and you know.
You can't stop me.
What do you mean?
stop me.
I didn't stop you. I can't stop you.
Can't
You're
be
a
stopped.
grown man. You know. There's no stopping the Duty.
But you bought into it. You're into the hype train, is what I'm saying.
I did. You know, I did look at all the videos, and it was kind of nice to me that it's not another, I want to say, true MMO where, okay, you need a tank, you need a healer, and then you need damage guys. After talking with you, you find out that, you know, yes, you have races and there are classes, but, you know, you're going to be able to go in anything at any time and be able to, you know, shit on kids if necessary.
All right. And this is the opposite of Star Wars, right? Because when you were playing Star Wars, it really wasn't something that you were at peace with, let's say, because you had to constantly be trying to get in with groups, and everyone would be like, "LB, just go sit in the corner. We'll get to you when we get to you." Right? And that was not really
Pretty
like
much.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like, oh, we already have a tank. Sorry. Or, oh, we already have this. Or, oh, you know, your gear might not be right.
Oh,
and I
sad
get
man.
that, but it's still it's kind of a bummer. You're like, you know, you work for all one thing. Like, okay, I'm going to tank, and then be like, oh, okay, they don't need a tank. So, but this, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can just
do
go in
whatever you
and
want.
PvP and have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so that's what's happening this weekend. If you guys want to check it out, obviously, you can yell at me later when you download the beta and you think it's shit and it sucks, and that's cool. I'm cool with all these things. I will take the heat for hyping this game. But I'm really excited for it, so I'm putting that out there. This week's topic, I guess it kind of goes along with this because we were talking about free-to-play last week, and then we talked about the rehash stuff, so we're kind of going in a circle here. But where we've ended up this week is advertising in video games. And I think for this week, LB, I don't know if you got it out in time, LB, but you had a poll that you put up, right? That you wanted to kind of let people answer some questions just to get a little figure of our own. But what was that poll about?
Well, basically what it is, and I did put it in chat for you guys to go and take if you'd like. It's a little concept idea I was throwing around, like what it would take or what you guys would be happy with if a game were free to play, but you had a hand in hand with either advertising in game or commercials in games or a combination of the whole banana, almost like NASCAR sponsorship type thing in games. So what I put up there is a little survey for you to go and take maybe 5 minutes to fill out and click on your answers and everything. But basically what it comes down to, I put it out there for the next AAA title, whatever that may be, but it's got the big hype. It's got great reviews. It is the next coming of Baby T-Bow to get ready to do the yes, Baby T-Bow to do the whole T-Bow. It's going to be the greatest thing since sliced
T-Bow
bread, vagina, boobies, whatever it is.
Wow.
But here's the situation. You're going to get to play this game for free if you want to. It's going to be a $60 retail game. You're going to get all DLC, all weapons, all levels, campaign, multiplayer, the whole banana, if you will. But what will happen is, to get that, you're going to have to watch commercials in between matchmaking games.
That's one of the options,
commercials.
is to watch
one of the
commercials.
options.
Okay.
Also in game, they would have billboards for different companies. It would it would still tie into the game. You're not just going to have a billboard pop out of nowhere for no reason.
Right.
Or if it's a FPS game, then your guns may say like Remington on it. Visors may come from Belay or like Oakley or something like that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
That would be totally free. So they're a different option, and that's the kind of premise behind the survey.
All right. Well, I guess the question then is, at least to chat and everyone, is would you play a free game, totally free, like you said? I know LB takes 45 minutes to get around to something, but would you play a free game if you had to sit through a 10-second commercial in order to play it? Now, with this premise, you're saying you get the 10-second commercial, but at the same time, there's the in-game advertising on top of that, which is what we're talking about. So billboards, stuff like that. Exactly. Would you play a free game if you knew that, I guess you would have to have it spaced to get in a loading screen or something, is what you're saying, like to get this commercial? Because you wouldn't want it to be in the middle of an FPS, you're shooting people, and then all of a sudden
No. It'd be like, okay, you just finished up the game, you looked at your stats, and basically you're waiting for the next match.
Oh, okay.
And
pre-game lobby.
Of that, they're sticking a commercial.
All right. So as long as I guess that's the question, is how intrusive would it be for you, at least, even on your end? Let's ask you, how much would you stand until you were like, you know what, I just want to pay the fucking $60 and get out of here and play this game. This is getting ridiculous. Like, what is your threshold? I guess because that seems a little, I don't know, it seems a little much to me. No.
I don't think so, because it's also there's no subscription fee, so you're getting out of that as well. It's not just a $60, and all DLC is going to be free. For that specific trifecta, if you will, show me the commercials and put out the sponsorships. I really don't, zero fucks given.
You don't
have
care.
a good time. Plus, this is a AAA title. It's not some new developer out there. We don't, really know about the game.
Right.
It's established. It's the next hot thing.
So you're putting it in sort of like if it was Halo or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or whatever, if you're not a Halo fan, next Gears of War, or COD, or
right.
Whatever.
Hold on, this is insane. Look at this. My Guild Wars 2 beta has opened up midstream. Good shit. It's like telling me, like, stop streaming. But now here's the thing. Why, and I guess this is my question I was saving for you because I wanted to hit you with something. Why would a game like Halo ever need to do in-game advertising when they can pretty much guarantee that they're going to get their $60, right? They know they're selling millions of copies on day one. D-Smooth's out there waiting in line, ready to get his copy of Halo 15 because he's a fucking shill for that game. Why would they do that?
Well, I think it brings in more people. You may have people on the fence that are like, "Oh, it's Halo. I don't want to waste $60 on it," or "Oh, I didn't play the ones before. I don't want to waste the money on it." If it's free, what's the harm in getting a free game? There is no downside for you. It's going to take up hard drive space. You play it for a couple of weeks. If it sucks, then you delete it. Right. So there's no blowback on the consumer's part to not give it a shot.
Okay. I mean, I guess I can see your point. I think that's why this model so far, I mean, we talked a lot about the free-to-play model last week. That seems to really be taken off. I think we could both agree to that. And the variations on that model, of course, have been talked about to death. But this whole advertising in gaming, I feel like it was a big thing like 2-3 years ago. I mean, I remember they were talking a lot about, in-game advertising was going to be the next thing at E3. This was probably, I think, maybe even 3 years ago. But it never seemed to come into fruition. And I think we've kind of seen it die down. So I'm just wondering, it sounds good on paper, the way at least you're sort of pitching it. But I haven't seen anything, at least recently, that's kind of sold that model. I guess the question is, why do you think that is? Why do you think, after all the hype that in-game advertising was going to bring a new revenue stream to games and bring costs down, why haven't we seen that then? If we're both saying, and I think we're both in agreement that we could stand some of these advertisings as gamers, then why do you think the market hasn't shifted in that way? What do you think's holding it back?
I think the companies, the game companies, want their cake and they eat it too. I think they want to charge $60 for a game. I think they want to charge for DLC, and then on top of that, they're going to be like, "Oh, by the way, we're going to stick in billboards and make even more money." They don't want to compromise. They don't want to be like, "All right, if we're going to have these in-game billboards, if we're going to have these corporate sponsorships, okay, maybe the DLC is going to be free, or there's not going to be a subscription fee." Well, you're not going to do that because Xbox Live is going to be like, "Hey, kiss my ass. That's a big moneymaker for us. That's not going to be there." So I think that they're unwilling to try something new, and they want, like I said, companies want to make money, and then if they can make more money, they're going to do whatever it takes to do that, but not give back.
Well, and Derek actually brings up a good point, which I hate saying, but he does. And the truth of the matter is these big companies have no reason. It's like I said before, why is Halo going to put advertising in a game when they already know they've sold the game before they even put it on the market? They have a guaranteed base. They're going to come in. They don't care. You could shit in a box, close it, and put Halo on it with a blue marker, and they would spend the $60 for it, right? We could agree to this.
That's the wrong thinking on the company.
Games, right?
They're not thinking outside the box. They're like, "Oh, we've already made our money." They're not thinking, "Oh, well, we could make more money than that." They're not seeing it. They're like, "Oh, we've already got the money. It's in our pockets. Sweet." Well, you've got a bunch of fence sitters that maybe don't want to try Halo or don't want to get in. And, they're not going to go out and spend the $60. Well, what do you need to do to bring those people in? You need to either reduce the price, make it either a better game, which obviously they don't want to do because they're just going to rehash most of it. But anyways, and they're just going to rely on the same old model. They don't want to try change, and they just think, "I've got my money. That's all I need to do. I'm just going to rehash until it doesn't work anymore." Yeah,
they wait until things die down, and they're like, "We better get a new IP out here so people, find something to buy." And I think that's what I've kind of, at least what I think about the entire situation is, there's, like Derek said, there's no reason, right? There's just no reason. They're going to make the money. It's going to happen. And then on top of that, once they make the money, once they see that they have the revenue there, then there's even less of a reason to think outside the box. Because once the money's secured, let's face it, then they know they've got a hit. The next objective is to come up with a sequel that is as close to what you're currently playing as possible, but only slightly different to get you to pay another $60, or in some cases, another 30 for an expansion, or whatever you're paying for your sub. And there's no reason that advertising actually works. And I know that I know there are titles, I think even Pulse was saying it before, that had billboards in the games too, but that's on top of the 60 you pay. So they're just creating another revenue stream for themselves on top of the 60 they've already made. Yeah. So I think the real, if the real thing is that this is only meant for non-AAA titles, if that's the case with in-game advertising, how come we don't see that? Why is the free-to-play model overcome this sort of in-game advertising model? Is it simply because the numbers don't add up? I mean, is it because advertisers maybe don't see a huge return on in-game advertising? And I guess to comment on that, at least for me, when I'm playing a video game, maybe I'm not like everybody else in the world, but I feel like I'm not susceptible to any advertising in that game. Maybe I'm crazy in thinking that. Maybe subliminally I go out and buy a Ford if I play a certain game. I don't know. But at least it feels like when I'm playing a game, I'm blocking everything out, including what's going on in the game that's like not relevant to me shooting someone or something like that. And so do you think it's a failure based on the medium itself, that it just flat out won't work? Or do you think maybe just hasn't matured enough?
Well, I think they need to be smart about the advertisers they're going for. You're not going to do an FPS and then, go out for a, PETA advertisement.
Right.
You're not going to do something like that. If you're going to do an FPS, well, you're going to look into gun manufacturers. You're going to look into ammo manufacturers. You're going to show action movies for cutscenes. You're going to do hardcore, maybe like muscle cars and trucks. You're not going to show, a little Kia Soul driving around. So I think it's very compartmentalized and very specific, and you need to be smart about that. As far as, you tuning stuff out, I can see that, because, you're not going to be in the middle of an FPS, stop to look at a billboard and be like, oh, look, it's a scope for somebody. Hey, that's great. And then move on. But if you're forced to watch a commercial in between matches, yeah, you could just walk away. You could just open up another screen or window. But it's the same thing with television. You can just flip a channel, or if you got it on DVR, you just fast forward. You just need to be smart about it.
Yeah, I guess that's what it comes down to. Maybe that side of the industry just hasn't matured yet. Maybe they haven't found the best way to deliver advertising to a game. I mean, you've heard me say it before. I think the free-to-play model is slowly becoming the go-to model, even more so than just paying up front. We saw it with Tribes. I think Tribes is a great example. I think it's a phenomenal FPS. To be able to play that outright and not put a cent down, to actually experience almost the entire game, that's a pretty big achievement. And I think they've done pretty well for themselves so far. I mean, I haven't seen the figures, but I know the game is not dying in any way, and they're gaining some momentum. So I don't know. I mean, for me, I think taking your experience and sort of squeezing it with advertising, I just feel like maybe that's not something that is ever going to work for a game where you have to be in it and involved in something like this. Like I said, if you're watching TV, you're zoning out anyway. You're half in, half out. Commercial comes up. Your brain is now conditioned to be like, oh, it's a commercial. I'm tuning out. You'll catch a logo here and there or some brand recognition, but it's almost secured more for brands that already have that recognition. It's there to remind you. Like when you watch a commercial now, you're just reminded that, hey, by the way, don't forget the Coke's still here. We're still here for you, in case you forgot. You know what I mean? Like that's almost what it is now. Like, hey, remember Ford? Yeah, we make cars still. Yeah, we do that still. We haven't changed. We're making cars. So, I feel like that's kind of the mentality of where the investors are thinking that their return is going to be a little bit better. Now, Bubba's saying that there's a 3.11 return on investment for someone watching TV. Is that what you're saying in chat there, Bub? So I don't know how to compare that to what the return is on video games, but that's still, Bubba, speaking for Nielsen. He works for Nielsen, apparently, sometimes. But that's pretty decent investment. I guess you'd have to get close to those numbers to make it, of any relevance. And so maybe that's just a time thing, or who knows? I don't know. So what are your closing thoughts then, at least, on the advertising gig? Will it ever happen?
I think it will. It's going to take, like, Derek. I'm kind of along with Derek on this, and you guys are kind of changed my mind about the AAA title. But on the A's and AA's, I think it could work. And if it starts to work on the A's and AA titles, then yeah, it'll eventually hit your AAA titles. So maybe, it does need to kind of phase out on or start on games that may need a little more help, or people may be a little more unlikely to choose because it's not that AAA title. I could see that.
I think that's the case in general. I would almost have to go one step further and say a lot of these changes that we see in the industry of gaming, they always start with the guy that decides I'm going to make the best FPS, and they start out of Chicago and it gets bought out by Apple, and all of a sudden it goes to Microsoft and it's called Halo, right? And games like that, they start at a 1A, single A, double A. You don't just get a AAA title out of nowhere. I mean, it takes time to grow, and it takes time for the industry to catch up to what's actually going on. So with that in mind, I think that's why the free-to-play model turned out to sort of take over the advertising model. It worked really well with games that had very little money to produce, and it was an easy way to get gamers into the game without having to spend that upfront price, which with advertising, you still kind of got, that's not enough revenue because you don't have the eyeballs yet. So it's like you need the eyeballs to make the revenue from the advertising work, but to get the eyeballs, you got to build a great game. And so I think the free-to-play model was a little bit easier because it was like, hey, we just built this game. Do you want to try it for free? If you don't like it, don't play it. And then it puts the onus on the developer to make a great game and make them, respond with dollars. Say, hey, I love your game. I'm going to spend $10 on this expansion. I'm going to spend $10 on this gun. And I think that just kind of turned out to be the better move. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's some of the games like right now that I find that it's a little frustrating. Like even with Super Monday Night Combat, you almost have to pay, your $15 or $30 to get extra game currency to upgrade your characters. Because I've been playing a little bit right now, and it's actually kind of frustrating because I know when I go in, there are some characters that just pop up, and I'm like, oh shit, they've got these products, and even at the start of the game, and they're shitting on you, you're like, oh my god, all right, so yeah, they've got all these extra perks, and I'm getting shit on, so now I gotta go spend my $30. So
you haven't spent the money yet, have you? Or you're saying
no? I have not spent the money.
You already know you will.
I can tell, when I go up on another player that one, they've either been playing a whole lot more. Because, your increments of getting in-game currency is so small, and the developers design it that way. They don't want you to, okay, if I play 10 hours and I'm getting a lot of in-game currency and I can do all these great upgrades. No, you need to grind. You need to grind, you need to play. But I can tell when I go up against another character that at the start of a game, when they're just shitting damage on somebody, they've either paid hundreds of hours in it, or they've paid the extra cash to do it. And you can do that right now. You can actually go in and buy in-game currency.
Is that still in beta though? So you can buy stuff now while it's still in beta?
It's really a murky area. I think it's the official game, but I haven't been over to the forums yet to see if it's like, yes, this is the game, or this is, really close. But I've seen small changes in the game over the past week where they keep rolling out new stuff. So.
Huh. Well, maybe a model for them could be you play the game, you buy it, or you pay for stuff, or you watch some Ford commercials and you get a new gun. It's like a checkbox. Did you view the Ford commercial? Yeah, you get a gun. Congratulations. That might work.
There you go.
Right?
Did you watch all the commercials on this given hour? Well, here's an extra 1,000 in-game currency.
I love it. Let's do this.
Wow.
Let's build a game.
Wow.
Now we just have to actually build the game. We should set up a free-to-play model, but not have a game.
There you go.
This is what we need to do. Yeah,
that's not going to work.
All right. Anyway, so that's the in-game advertising. I mean, I feel like it's dead. really to wrap it up, I don't think it's really ever going to take off. And now I could be wrong. I could be like Bill Gates and say no one's ever going to need more than 8 megs. What do you say? I don't know. And we could see this every day. I do think as a supplement, we might start seeing it. And I think sort of, using it in racing games, it kind of makes sense. Why not? You're in a racing game. There's billboards on the racetrack and in RL. Why not put them up on the racetrack in the game? Right. So it kind of makes sense if it fits the subject line. I think we'll see it, but I think it'll always be another stream of revenue. I do not believe it will ever reach this free-to-play model where you'll see games that are totally free based on how many commercials you watch. Now, that's not to say that I don't think, like LB said, that I would do it. I think I would. I just think that having a free-to-play model where I'm not controlled by advertising in any way suits me better, and then in turn helps for me to pay for the developers, and they get more money out of it. So that's what I think. All right? All right. LB, why don't we look at what awesome video games that you by yourself have researched? No one else has helped you with.
That's right. It's all
you.
me all the
you.
time.
Let's talk about this week's releases. Go ahead.
This week's releases was actually put together by Pulsaris. Thank you, Pulse. You've done a great job.
Pulsaris, writer for tooltoplay.com. If you'd like to see his work, check out tooltoplay.com and you will be amazed at the amount of time and effort he puts into things. It's amazing. Unbelievable.
All right, well, I guess the big one for this week is Pulse's Pick of the Week, Prototype 2 for PS3 and Xbox 360. Judy, if you could run the YouTube video,
I'll
please.
let him watch it, yeah. I'll give him a second. But yeah, go ahead.
Sequel to the open-world action game from 2009. Game features a new protagonist, Sergeant James Heller, who is seeking revenge for the death of his family. He's infected with a virus that allows him to be a shapeshifter.
Ooh.
Game will not include multiplayer. Prices range from $60 for the base version to $80 for the collector's edition. How many fucks?
For me,
Yes.
I played a little bit of this game. Not part 2.
Right.
This is one of those games where I think conceptually it's a decent game. I didn't have a bad time playing it. I didn't think it was terrible, but I only played it for like an hour. And it sort of falls into one of those games where I'm not at this point in my life, nor do I think I will ever be back into the single player sort of aspect of gaming. If I'm going to get on, I'm going to play with some buddies. I'm going to shoot this shit. I'm going to have a beer and I'm going to go to bed. I can't do single player anymore. And so I think conceptually the game is good. I just don't think it's something that I would ever sink my teeth into. And it sucks too, because it happened with Batman Arkham. And that was a great game. In fact, I would almost give that game 4 fucks out of 5. It was so good, so well crafted. But I never finished it because it's not, can't play with my homies. Multiplayer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think?
I think a game has to be at least co-op for me.
Right.
I mean, I even got Backman. Backman?
I like Backman.
He jumps on the back of everybody. I'm just going right to back.
What's he doing on the back of everybody?
I got Batman Arkham, and I got it for free when I put in my new video card. I installed it. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to play this later. And then I'm like, oh, I'll play it tomorrow. And then I'm like, oh, I'll play it over the weekend. And then I've yet to play it. Free game.
Wow.
Have not played it.
Damn.
It's just single player games, no co-op. All right, might be fun for a little bit. I got nothing else to do, maybe. Otherwise, it's got to be co-op or multiplayer.
It's almost like there's not enough time for single-player games anymore, right? Because you've got a limited amount of time to go and play whatever game you're going to do. It's your entertainment, it's your hobby, or whatever. And so you always, especially if you're a part of a site like ours, you have a clan, you got friends, whatever, you've kind of like set aside that time. They're like your girlfriend. It's really depressing. Wow. You're like, I better put some dude time in, or I'm going to get in trouble. So you have your dude time. And then, you don't have any time for yourself to sort of play your own game. I don't know. How do you feel about that? That's a separate topic. We should do that next week. Dude time. Is it healthy? Inquiring minds don't want to know.
All right. We'll go with that. Dude time.
Dude time.
Next game, PC releases. Risen 2 Dark Waters for Windows. Sequel to the 2009 action role-playing game, the hero, which shall remain nameless mainly because he has no name, is asked to help find a sunken ship and help relocate the pirate Gregorius Emmanuel Steelbeard.
That's a fucking fantastic name. This game could suck balls, but that name,
Wow. It's pretty fancy.
fantastic.
Game operates on a full day and night cycle with random weather patterns. Enemies also change their behavior based on time and weather. Base price $60. Zero fucks. I'm not even gonna.
Wow.
Nope.
Yeah, you know, if you're not feeling it, LB, if you're
No.
not feeling it, you skip
Not.
it. You don't got to tell these. No one wants to hear about these games anyway, right? They don't give a shit.
Well,
You don't like 'em,
To each their
skip
own.
'em.
If you're a big Risen 1 fan and you fapped
Huge.
to it and you
I'm a-
thought it was
I'm a
great,
huge
it may
Risen
be
1
great.
fan.
I mean, look at Batman. I heard it's fantastic. Everybody fapped to it.
Yeah,
I didn't play it.
I didn't play it either. I
Zero
did play it for a
fucks.
little bit.
Huh?
A little bit.
Deus Ex Human Revolution. Oh, BC. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
This is for the Mac.
Oh, the Mac.
Oh, BC.
Oh,
Mac gaming.
the Mac is for hipster kids, right?
Yes, for the hipsters.
Right. They don't respect value or saving money, so they buy products that are overpriced to play less video games on. Is that the correct marketing strategy? I believe that's it.
That is it.
Okay. Just I want to run that by you. Make sure I got that right.
That's right.
Yeah.
While not a new game, the Mac finally is getting the stealthy role-playing game that consoles and PCs have had since last fall. $50.
Just reading this makes me happy.
Yeah.
I read this and I'm like, why? Why are people still buying Macs? What is the? Can anyone give me a reason why people buy Macs anymore? Can
Here
anyone?
it comes. Here it comes.
I know BC's in chat. He's never given a great reason. I'm sorry.
It's best.
If you buy a Mac, you're doing it because you do not like to get value for the money that you put into products. I feel like it's a given. Now, I'm not saying that an iPhone isn't a good product and all those other things, but if you're buying a Mac, you're just missing out. You're spending the same amount of money. Well, you're spending more money than you would on a comparable PC, and you don't get to play games. I could do all. This is another topic for a week. Why do fucking people buy Macs? Period. It's not even a topic. It's 2 sentences, and then
We're done. Yeah.
we're done. It's over. Anyway.
All right, moving on. Nintendo 3DS releases Shifting World, a puzzle platformer based on the Shift series. Obstacles are passed by shifting between black and white. Puzzles also require a shift from 2D to 3D. $30. Don't got a Nintendo 3DS.
Don't care.
Even if I had one.
Can we both agree to that this fucking 3D stuff is it over yet? Can
No,
we get
because it
over
keeps happening, dude.
Why?
It keeps happening.
This is like the Mac. Is there going to be a Mac 3D soon? Because if there is, I'm going to jump out a fucking window. I can't take
Actually,
it
you know
anymore.
what? Another possible show. I want to know dudes who play in 3D.
Dude, I really want to know. I want to know the numbers.
That's the next survey.
I think there's 3 people in the world currently playing in 3D. That's my 3 people. That's what the 3 stands for. It's not 3-dimensional. There's 3 people playing it. Now, have you noticed too? And I don't want to get off on a tangent, so I'm not going to. But I saw that there's a 3D button even for YouTube now. You see this?
Yes.
Who is watching 3D, man? Who's doing this?
Porn.
Porn. No one. Let me tell you why you don't want to watch 3D porn. I don't want to get in this, but I'm going to have to. You don't want the money shot in your eye. You don't want that. That's not good for anybody. It's not good for anybody. All right. Go ahead. Next.
All right. Arcade DLC releases. Bloodforge, Xbox Live Arcade. A good old-fashioned hack and slash base with a Celtic landscape.
Ooh.
The gods have chosen the warrior Crom to fight for them. Oh, that's right there. That gets an extra fuck for me just because they said Crom.
Dork.
He had ended fighting to be with his family, and now he has vowed revenge. $15 in points. $15 in points.
Microsoft
so
points. All right.
what's that? Your $20? Is that right? 1,600 Microsoft points, somewhere around there.
Now, this is a game, and I was watching the comments. People were, I guess, excited about. This is a game I've never even heard of. Do I have my head so far up Guild Wars' ass at this point that I don't even...
I know.
Really?
I
Concerning me.
actually might go to YouTube and look up Bloodforge just to see what it's kind of kind of looking like?
I've
'Cause
heard.
if,
I've
you know,
heard.
You got.
I've
if
heard
you-
good things about it.
Are there slave girls in limited clothing?
I hope so. Well, Pulse says it got a lot of hype. Where was this hype? Was it on a Macintosh somewhere? 3 guys read it? fuck was it?
On the Macintosh, guys playing with 3D.
No, okay.
It's like the perfect storm.
Well, I'll check into it. I don't know. I mean, I've heard good things, but then I heard immediately after that it was bad things. Like they were like, oh, it was supposed to be really good. And then people saw the game and then they were like, no. And that's the one thing. Like, how do these games get hyped before anyone even touches them? How does the media is so good at this? I got to get into this gig. Me and you should both do this because you are fucking great at selling shitty games. I may or may not be great at selling shitty games. We'll know in a couple months, but clearly we've got the chops for it.
Wow. Well, you know what? Someone wants to pay me. I'll
Yeah.
push the crap.
All right.
I got.
You'll sell some shitty
I'll
games.
tell you up front. Oh, this game sucks, but I can get it out there. I can sell it.
Yeah, you'll bring everybody to the brink
Oh.
of sadness. All right, go ahead. Yeah.
Next one, UEFA Euro 2012. All right, you like soccer? Great. There you go. There's your game. 0 fucks. Moving
I'm
on.
telling you, I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it every week. Soccer subscription. You pay once every month. New soccer game comes out. You get it for free.
They're not going to do that though, because they're not going to get
Well,
their money. They're not going
just
to get
saying.
the money.
One-time payment every month.
Obviously. All right.
One time, all the time. That's how it goes.
Now, this is my favorite section of Pulse's article. It's the "What were they smoking" section.
Yeah, you're a fan of this.
Yes, I am. I like this. Gives it flavor, if you will.
Right.
For this week's What Were They Smoking award, I will admit is a bit of a reach, but is well deserved. This game was given the award due to being just a terrible idea.
Wow.
This week, awards goes to a downloadable game for the Nintendo DS. Chuck E. Cheese Arcade Room.
This sounds great. What's wrong with this game?
I don't
I see
know.
nothing wrong with this game.
In my
Listen to
opinion,
these
games that
tunes.
are a slew of mini games are nothing more than a cop-out. Hey, we need money, and we have no original ideas, so let's throw some mini games together and sell it. That's a good pulse, but obviously, if it does sell, they're going to just keep doing it.
We should get one of these. Why don't we make one of
Why?
these stupid
Why?
games?
Make-
No, I
do
want to
you
make
have
one
a
of these.
3DS?
No,
Do you
but
have
I
a-
want to make one. How do we make one? Read up on
Oh.
that. Me and you are going to make one.
Okay.
It's going to be the greatest game ever.
When was this idea added to the Chuck E. Cheese franchise? That was enough to make me give them this award. So let's play this video.
I already played it. It's going.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's happening.
Oh,
I'm dancing to it right now.
are you?
Yeah, it's a phenomenal game. I don't know why everyone's so mad. It's a great game. Yeah, I don't know with these, with the DS games and stuff like that. It's like, does anyone play the DS anymore? Has it all moved to the iPhone? Is that where we're at now? Are we all on the iPhone now? We're playing while we're taking a dump. That's why you buy a DS, right? It's for the shitter, right?
Or the bus, or the train,
Or the bus,
plane,
or the bus, or the train. But it's for the shitter, right?
Yeah, it's for the shitter.
It's for the shitter. iOS stands for I on shitter. Little known fact. Anyway, that's it for the week. Thanks so much, everyone, coming into chat to talk with us. I know this is super boring. You stick around, you talk shit, you make fun of each other. It's an absolute blast for us. Can't wait to do it again. BC just likes to come in here to make fun of us because he has a Mac, and it's the only way to make himself feel better about what he's done with his money. It's sad.
Yes, Hop, you did miss the D3. I talked about it in the beginning.
We talked
so-
about D3. We'll talk about D3 a little bit more later. Once it comes out, we'll do a better review. But I gotta be honest, I'm not excited.
Whatever.
Anyway, next week, same time. I think we're gonna stick to this time, 7:30 Central PM. I am Dude I Rock. LB, why don't you lead them out with your sexy tweets? You can drop some knowledge on them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sexy tweets?
Sexy
Really?
tweets.
I don't know if it's really sexy. But it is what it is.
Anyway, his name's Mike Capola. You can reach him at LBSUTKE. If you want to learn, if you want to not learn, if you want to ask stupid questions, which he will not
Yes.
have the answer to,
No.
you can do that. And if you want to hit me up, you can hit me up, as always, on the Twitters that I never use. except to be self-important and talk about myself, which is the point of Twitter. At DOODIROCK? Question mark. And we'll be here next week. Thanks for everyone showing up. And I'm going to stream Guild Wars 2 all weekend. So if you want to come to Twitch and see how shitty of a game it is, I plan on being fully showered on Friday, but then by Sunday, like half naked with pizza boxes and a full fucking beard and just tears, like nerd tears, where I'm just crying because it's so shameful that I haven't done anything the last 3 days. So if you want to watch that for any reason, be in chat. I'll be there. All right. Peace out, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Later.